G'day guys, welcome to another Power Scrap. Today I am doing a Power Scrap using supplies that were provided to me by the amazing Scrapbook Fantasies. If you have not been on the Scrapbook Fantasies website, I will have it linked below for you, along with the products that I've used where I can link them, or the shop link. If you would like to check them out, they're an Aussie owned company. They are up in Gladstone in Queensland, and they create a lot of their own stuff. So whether it's stencils, whether it's papers, whether it is, they do like perspex plastic bits and pieces. They also do full collections. They do what else do they do? Chipboard pieces. They have cut aparts. They also have titles and stuff like that already pre-cut for you if you don't have an electric cutter, so you can grab those as well. So they've got loads, guys. So go and check them out, because this is a page that came together using their stuff. Now, this is one of their stencils. I think it's called, what's this stencil called? I wrote it down. I know I did. It's called Paint Pattern. I will have it linked in the description below, so don't stress if you want to write it down. It's all in the description below. Now, I'm also using the Scrapbook Fantasy sequin mix on this layout. I'm also using, so what I just put through the stencil there was the light and fluffy texture paste from TCW. It doesn't take long to dry, that's why I was putting my hand on it. It was quite a warm day when I was doing this. Now, full disclosure, apologies if these photos are in any way upsetting for anybody. These are photos of Ange when she was right in the height of being diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is a step down from Crohn's disease. And yeah, so she was on she had a feeding tube in at this point. So yeah, it was, but my point is, that's a time in our life that we need to document, because as much as we will remember it to be a very horrible phase that we had to endure and get through medically, as a family, as Angela, all that sort of stuff, it's also important to document, because the reason I'm documenting these photos is because you can see this was Christmas and she was having fun like everyone else. She was in the water, she was playing, she was living her best life. And you know, just because you've got a chronic disease, it doesn't mean that you can't live life to the fullest. And that's why I'm scrapbooking these photos. So yeah, so I am backing this cut file. Now, this cut file I got from PEARTREE cut files. I'll have it linked below as well. They this particular cut file is, it was just perfect, you know, live in the moment. And I've backed it with this stunning it's a vellum sheet, and it's from the Cats and Dogs collection, and it has these most beautiful flowers on it. Right at the end, I'll zoom in for you and you can see the way it just looks beautiful. And using that particular piece of vellum to back this cut file, it added like a nice soft element to a really bright layout. So sometimes, if you've been here for a little while, you'll know that sometimes I do super bright layouts, sometimes I do super subdued layouts, sometimes I do them black and white. I love doing all of those things, and to be completely fair, there's, you know, I think there's room in everyone's album for a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So now, oh, apologies. Yeah, so I am raising this up. Now you can see I'm using my foam strips, and I'm going around just the outside edge of the backing sheet. So when I cut this cut file, I also jumped in and I duplicated it so it's exactly the same size, but I turned off all the compound paths or all the contour. I clicked on the contour setting in Cricut and in the Cricut design space, and I switched it off, and it allowed me to print a solid piece for the back. Now I left the cursive script in the center purely so I got the separation right, and I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do with that bit yet. I do end up going over it with a grey, a very, very pale grey alcohol marker, and it just creates a shadow, which is actually quite cute. I actually quite like that. So I'm going through it, I'm removing all these bits. Does it drive you crazy the way it drives me crazy when you peel these off and they static to everything? And because obviously in this my little crafty space I use a lot of plastic, a lot of plastic sheets, everything seems to be statically charged, and as you can see it's sticking to the top of my hand. That they're not sticky they're just staticky. So, but that's all right. So this is another one in my Power Scrap series, my silly season Power Scrap season. Yes, Power Scrap silly season is what I was trying to get out. Now you can see me just going over the back word here just to give it a little bit of extra dimension. So it worked a treat. Now I have gone ahead, I didn't line these up perfectly. Guess what? It's all good. Just cut the one at the back and you'll never know. So it's raised up, and that's all that matters. So there's my title. Now I decided to come in with some pigment ink. This, I swear, this is my nemesis. Getting a white ink pad that works. I think I'm going to buy the Hero Arts white ink pad because everyone seems to have success with that one. This particular one, it doesn't work. It's crappy. So I decided to pull out some sticky ink and then go over it with my Hero Arts white embossing powder. And yeah, just to create some extra something on the page, just more visual interest. You can see that I've gone around the outside border with my sewing machine, and I've done it very messy, very sketchy. I've done some straight lines, I've done some zigzags, and these white embossed bits are just adding to that extra little bit of crazy in the background. But once you put the photos on, and this is what I say to you guys, keep going, because as much as it looks crazy right now, keep going, because remember, you always cover up a large portion of your mixed media. Have fun while you're doing it. And I know it seems kind of wasteful to then cover over it, but I assure you it looks fantastic in the end. So just give it a try. It's not super hard. Again, I've gone over that with the LUNAR paste in No Diving, and I've gone over it with the white embossing powder just to create more interest. So this is what I talk about when I say about layers. Just layer on layer on layer. So I've used the square stencil. That's one from Uniquely Creative. Again, I'll have all the links below, guys. I think that was one, that stencil I've had for ages. Stamp, I mean, not stencil. I've had for ages. I like it because it gives me a clear, crisp stamp, especially when I use my sticky ink and use the embossing powder. I love how it turns out. So then I literally start just putting it all together, and it just comes together super quickly in the end. And that's what I love. I love doing processes where I have like an assembly line situation where I get, right, that part of it's done. So I've got my background done. I've done my sewing around. Right now I've done my title. It's ready to stick down. I'm ready to stick down my photos. Like, I like that. That's what I love about scrapbooking. Other than obviously the memories, which is super important. And I absolutely love how that turns out. But Can you see how it just comes together? Now, I am going to come in with some sequins mix. This sequins mix was sent to me again from, oh, hang on, first of all, this is my white acrylic paint. I have decided that I'm going to come in here and add some blobs, and they're going to be stark white because it's white acrylic paint and it's fully opaque, this stuff. It's beautiful. But by having it in the little fine liner bottle, I can create swirls, dots. It kind of looks sewing, like it's a sewing stitch. It looks really cool, and just for visual interest. Now, you can do that with any kind of acrylic paint, because the acrylic paint isn't like a water-based paint. It's not going to soak in. It's going to sit on top, and that's the difference between acrylic and water-based. Water-based will soak into your paper because it's 90% water. Let's be honest, that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. Now, this sequins mix, check it out. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. If you're one of these people that likes a little bit of a sequins here and there, you may not want to have the quantity that I've got. I have obsessive compulsive disorder that is actually medically diagnosed, FYI. And my OCD means that I can't just have one of something. I've got to have all of the range. I can't just buy. It does my head in if I have to buy a couple of it this week and a couple of it next week. That does my head in. I'd rather just wait till next week so I can get the whole lot in one hit. So what I'm doing with this sequins mix is, because I really like the yellow and I've got an idea for the yellow and the green coming up on a different layout. So I wanted to just use the blue and the teals out of this sequins mix. And there's some stars chucked in. There's some little beads in there. So you could make a shaker pocket out of this. You could do snowflakes. You could do all sorts of things. It's cats and dogs. So on the back of these papers, there's these beautiful cut apart sheets where there's dog blankets, dog rugs. There's like so many different things that you can fussy cut and create. You can do, but I wanted to use this cats and dogs papers on a topic that's not cats and dogs. Does that make sense? So you can see the texture on this back cards, my backing cardstock. Gee whiz, can you tell it's first thing in the morning? Good Lord. And I slept really well last night too. And still my words are not coming out of my mouth properly. But that's okay. So I will have everything listed below. And I'm going to come in with some liquid pearls now just to add some extra bits of bling and shine to this layout. And I absolutely love how this turns out. I love blues. I love creating blue layouts. I love them, love them, love them. So, and the topic is not even, it's not even about blue, but it works. It totally just works. So I'm going to do my shameless plug, guys, while I'm putting these finishing touches on here. If you would like to support my channel in bringing you more content in 2024, it's not compulsory, but I'm putting it out there because I've had a lot of people ask me how they can help support my channel because I don't do memberships. And what I decided to do was obviously monetize my channel. And that brings in a tiny bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And so that helps. And then I've got my buy me a coffee link in the description below, so you can buy me a coffee, and it's super simple, and the money from that goes back into buying more supplies to then bring you more content. So this is my layout. I also have in the description below, I will have all the links to Scrapbook Fantasies, and you can click on it and go show them some love, guys. You will not be disappointed. I assure you, you will not be disappointed. Now, this is, see, I did a sketchy sort of edge around the stitched edge, and you can see where I've done those little circles with the acrylic paint. They're not perfect, they're sketchy, they're edgy, they totally works, and I've got embossing powder on my photo. It's not melted, don't worry. It's just the static thing I was talking about earlier. See how I left that off? Yeah, So totally works. The bit on the back is with a grey behind the cursive, and it totally works. Check out the vellum. Isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely stunning. I love it. I will be doing that again with the rest of it on another layout. I love how that looks. It looks beautiful. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will chat to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.